So this week, we are talking about the newest movie from Laika Studios. I guess just Laika.
I think it's just Laika.
Yeah, the studio known as Laika. Is it an integral article? Is it the Boxtrolls?
Yeah, it's the Boxtrolls.
All right. It's the Boxtrolls. Their third film following Coraline and ParaNorman.
Yeah, in case you didn't know that, for all you Laika virgins out there.
That
neither of us knew how to respond to that.
That threw me for a loop. Oy. Yeah, stop motion animated, kind of Halloween-y, not as Halloween-y as their other two were, which was to say extremely. This one's just kind of. But at least unlike ParaNorman, they're releasing it close to October. I mean, it's October now, it's in theaters. ParaNorman came out in like August.
Yeah, that was balls.
Yeah. Now, this is a studio that has everything they've done has been critically acclaimed, but hasn't made that much money. I actually looked this up. Both Coraline and ParaNorman made back twice their money in the international box office. I don't think they opened that well, and the reason, and that's really what's most important with film, is that because it's so hard to measure how well movies do because everybody lies about the budget and everything. What's so important to the most important metric of success, which is really an arbitrary one, is opening weekend sales, which is more than anything a metric of advertising. Mm-hmm. How effective was the advertising? Like for example, Godzilla had pretty good advertising, and everybody saw it and was like, it's okay. So people who didn't see it the first weekend were like, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah. Wish I did that. I would have seen it anyway. I love Godzilla too much, but it wasn't great.
Because everybody's like, Godzilla was barely in it, or Bryan Cranston was barely in it. So didn't have...
All the good things about that film were in there for a fraction of it.
Was Ken Watanabe even in there that much?
He was, but he just kind of stood there.
Yeah, he wasn't in there.
He was in the background.
I mean, I can barely understand what that guy says anyway.
Well, he doesn't say much.
That'll be fine. So, Boxtrolls. This is an adaptation of a children's book called Here Be Monsters?
Yes.
Is that right? All right. Are all their works adapted? Like, I know Coraline was a book by Neil Gaiman. Was ParaNorman adapted?
ParaNorman was original. But yeah, so far, except for ParaNorman, all their stuff's been adaptation, including like the stuff they're planning on doing.
Boxtrolls is very loose adaptation. Whereas Coraline was very on the nose.
Yeah. Coraline was short, so they didn't have to cut much. They just added some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the Coraline and ParaNorman for the first time today, which is... Sometimes I say stuff like that and I'm like, destroy my own credibility for this podcast.
Yeah, like, I saw Coraline a while ago. I saw ParaNorman last weekend as part of my spooktacular Friday night, Saturday night, whatever night.
Yeah. I should watch that again.
It's great for this time of year. It's all folly.
Yeah, ParaNorman is on Netflix Instant.
Yep.
It's not just a scary movie, it's very autumnal. It takes place in New England, so you can visibly tell it's
fall. Yeah,
fall.
It's great.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, it takes place in New England, so you can tell it's horror.
I don't have any strong opinions on New England. It's probably too cold.
There's moose. They seem to like it there.
There are no moose. What are you talking about?
What, in New England?
Moose? Yeah.
In New England. Like in Maine?
Maybe in Maine.
Maybe Maine. Maybe maybe like the newest.
Yeah,
England
like
you can
the
get.
closest to
that's still technically
Canada
New England.
you can get.
Yeah. That's where I was up there.
You saw a moose?
I saw tracks.
Are you sure they were deer?
No, they were moose. They were big as fuck.
Anyway, Boxtrolls.
Boxtrolls. This is a story about it's a Victorian city called Cheesebridge, in which there are living underground a colony of little troll dudes who all wear cardboard boxes.
They're like hermit crabs.
All the time. Yeah, they really are, except they don't change them. Yep. And they are like little engineer-y, tinkerer, machinist dudes. And
they're cute.
they're super cute. They're voiced by
D. Bradley Baker is Fish, and Steve Bloom was Shoes. The two main Boxtrolls.
Yeah, they're all named after whatever is on their box.
Yes. Which is good marketing for kids.
Yeah, it's easy to identify. That's why in the show the Pokemon said their names. It's like, I want that one now. I know which toy to yell at mom for. Because they made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the games are all like...
Boxtrolls.
Boxtrolls.
So, the story revolves around the, what do they call the baby?
The Trubshaw.
The Trubshaw.
The Trubshaw
Redemption baby. It opens with baby getting kidnapped by Boxtrolls, and introduction to Snatcher, and
voiced by Ben Kingsley,
yes, who does a wonderful job.
Yeah, I knew I recognized that actor. I wouldn't have pegged them as Ben Kingsley.
I saw an interview with Ellie Fanning and Isaac Hempstead Wright, who play
Winnie and Eggs, respectively.
And Isaac was talking about recording with Ben Kingsley, and apparently they were like in this really tiny little room, and Ben Kingsley needed a chair to get the proper vocal performance for what he wanted to do. So he had like the only chair they had was like this big chair. So Isaac was just like crammed in the corner with Ben Kingsley in this big chair, just fucking booming this voice.
Yeah, he might as well be on the fucking Iron Throne.
Yeah, and apparently, and Isaac was talking about how like intimidating and scary it was. He was like, I was really scared.
Because
you should be intimidated by Ben Kingsley. Most people should.
He's new, I think, because the credit said introducing Isaac Hempstead.
No, he's in Game of Thrones. He plays one of the Starks, Bran Stark.
All right. I mentioned the Iron Throne, and that's really like all I know about that fucking show.
Yeah.
It's the sword chair. And a dragon made it.
It's even more like figuratively metal in the books, because like in the TV show the chair is just like a chair, but in the book it's like George R. R. Martin pictured just this giant, huge, like the swords also make stairs leading up to this giant asymmetrical just smorgasbord of swords and shit, making a chair-like thing that a speck of a human being can sit on.
So Boxtrolls.
Ben Kingsley on that.
Boxtrolls.
They're trolls.
Okay.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Thank you for tuning in.
The baby. Snatcher goes to Lord Portly Rind and is like, we got to do something about them Boxtrolls.
Governor.
I don't care.
And he's like, if I catch all the Boxtrolls, you'll give me a white hat. Apparently in this society is ruled by the color of your hat determines your class.
And the White Hats are like a ruling class council of ineffective...
Just the worst government ever.
Here's one thing I want to talk about. You know, this movie has a steampunk edge to it. And it's definitely
it's Victorian.
Steampunk.
That's what it is.
It's Victorian. I don't understand why people are so fascinated with Victorian England. It's white people at their worst.
I don't get it either.
It's a weird thing to romanticize.
I don't get it either. I've never been a big fan of the Victorian, Edwardian England thing. Like, I don't get it. I don't know why people like it so much. I mean, it's okay, I guess.
I mean, like, gears and clocks and shit are cool, but...
And, like, all the dirt and the grit and stuff.
Yeah. It's just, like, it's really nasty.
Yeah, that movie got the real Victorian right. If you weren't, like, super duper high class, you were basically filthy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean... And there was a line, like, they're talking about, like, what it takes to be a white hat, and it's like, you need to have poise, class, respectability, or just be really rich! That's how I got mine!
Yep. Like, the rich get richer, and also cheese.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like...
all the rich fucks love cheese.
I wasn't as big a fan of the setting for this movie as I was for Coraline and ParaNorman, but maybe it's just because I'm an American, and I like American settings better.
No, Americans love Victorian England.
The look of the city is really like when they first opened up and showed the whole thing. Like they just built this like city on top of an entire mountain or whatever.
I know. I've seen that before. I've seen Victorian stop motion with Corpse Bride. Like I've seen all of his shit before.
The shape of the city, like that silhouette's really Seussian.
Yeah.
Seussical? I think Seussical's
I think it's Seussical.
Seussical is what they called the Dr. Seuss musical, though.
What was it like? Those animated, the fantabulous. Fuck it.
Boxtrolls. Okay. So White Hat.
That's how Nina keeps us on topic. She just shouts the name.
Lord Portly Ron is like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. Then we cut to.
Because Sinatra says that they might steal your cheese.
Oh yeah.
Because that's all he gives a shit about.
Yeah, so we see that Snatcher and his troop of red hats, starts a witch hunt against Boxtrolls. He creates a curfew and makes up all these lies about how Boxtrolls are the worst things ever. Then
and how they like eat and murder people.
Gross. And then we cut to the actual Boxtrolls themselves. Just trying to find stuff on the surface. Snatcher and his goons attack them. Some of them don't make it. Then they go back down, and then we actually get to see them in their world. And it's really cute. And we get introduced to Eggs, who is our hero. I was going to say heroine. Eggs is our hero, played by Isaac Hempstead Wright. But the first scene is with him as a baby, and it's the cutest part.
He's a little dirty-ass baby in a box that says Eggs on it, and he's like playing...
Eating bugs.
Eating
Eat
bugs.
bugs.
And like smacking on stuff to make music because Fish is like his surrogate father.
Fish is his dad.
Yeah. Basically. They jam out together in their makeshift garage band.
And then they all cuddle in a box pile when they go to sleep.
Yeah, they make the box pile. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, see, that scene, it's something that Laika's really good at. Laika's really good at, they do a lot of action bits in their movies, but they're not afraid to slow things down in a children's movie, which a lot of studios and like lesser directors are afraid to do.
Yeah.
Like, look at the lesser works of DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just super hyperkinetic. Like, these movies are really slowing down and being really atmospheric and being slow building pieces.
Well, when you literally have to like craft every frame of the film with your hands, I can understand wanting each moment to have as much in it as you can. Make the best of it. If you gotta work all day to make like a second of film, you want it to be the best fucking second you've ever done in your life.
And I also understand why their medium would make them be like, let's not do that many action beats.
Yeah.
Which is great. It makes for a very different kind of movie. So yeah, the first scene of the movie is like 20 minutes of you just seeing these little gobloids, rooting around in the trash for pieces of machinery and like this troll playing with a kid.
Yeah, but it is very ambitious, though. That scene where they first enter the Boxtroll lair is a very ambitious scene, with all them sliding down.
Is.
Yeah, like, even when they're not doing that much, there's always stuff going on, and it's just
really
it's
a very busy world the Boxtrolls have. Like when when Fish is looking for eggs, and he's asking everybody, like everybody's doing something in the background. There's like a million things going on in the shot.
It's a very visually rich movie.
Mm-hmm.
As all of Laika's stuff is.
Totally.
One interesting thing that Laika did for this movie is that they utilized 3D printing, I think for the first time.
Well, it did not exist in 2009.
No, it did not. To help create their millions and millions of facial expressions. For example, Coraline had a potential of 200,000 facial expressions. Norman from ParaNorman had 1.4 million facial expressions. And so, we're in the same ballpark with Boxtrolls. So having the 3D printing technology really helps to facilitate that process. of making.
It helps keep their budget down, which is good for investors, especially when their movies aren't raking in that much money.
Though 3D printing is really
There's, like-
expensive, actually.
Yeah, but it's getting cheaper.
And it's got to be cheaper than, like, physically hand-molding every single solitary face from the ground up.
It's definitely better in terms of time as well.
Yeah, and it may save the money in the long run because they don't have to pay as many people. Mm-hmm. Or pay as many hours, at least. I don't know if animators are paid by the hour.
And I think it really made an effect because Snatcher in particular, his facial expressions were great. Like, they were so emotive and, like, so gnarly and wonderful.
Yeah, Snatcher was really good. Well, he was ugly as sin, but he was good looking from an objective film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from,
he was
like,
ghoulish.
yeah, exactly. That's
like
a great way to put it.
Yeah, that's one thing I love. That's one thing I love about Laika. Honestly, now that I think about it, their films just keep getting uglier. I'm scared for their next
Yeah, they
film.
can't get away from the spooky time.
Like Coraline, everybody was basically, whatever.
It wasn't cute, it was scary, okay? Coraline was fucking very scary.
Coraline was the scariest one.
That probably had a lot to do with the fact that it didn't do well, because how do you market an animated film that's scary?
Trick everybody into thinking Tim Burton made it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it says on the box from the director of Nightmare Before Christmas, which a lot of people would assume is Tim Burton because he took all the credit, or people gave him all the credit. I don't want to necessarily blame him.
There's black and white stripes in this movie. Tim Burton made it.
Designed the characters and created the basic plot, but he's not the reason why the movie came together.
Hell no. But anyway,
in fact, what is the name of the director?
Yes,
Henry Selick.
Thank you, Tooch.
You're welcome. And then but the Coraline. I just mean in terms of like the humans' designs, like they were. But then ParaNorman had that like everybody was a little asymmetrical. Yeah. And it came off. I really loved that. It was super charming.
Coraline and her mom are asymmetrical.
Yes,
their noses were offset.
That was in copying the style of the illustrations within the book.
That's cool.
Yeah,
which were super good.
Yeah, but like her face, the faces were kind of flat and kind of plasticine looking.
Yeah,
and the eyes were inset in a way that's different from how they do it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then ParaNorman sort of cranked that up further. Everybody was like angular and weird looking, and I super dug it. And then in this movie, everybody's just super ugly as sin, and I love it.
Yeah, like these movies are creepy.
Snatcher.
Like, I went to see this movie, and most of the audience was family and kids. I think me and my friends were the only people that wasn't a family and kids seeing this movie. And I was a little like, man, this movie's kind of scary. I wonder if these kids are liking any of this, like, at all.
That's been my thought with every kids movie I've seen in a long time. Like, that was a big thing with Lego Movie. It's like, I'm the only one laughing. Either that or I'm just laughing so loud I'm drowning everybody out. I mean, that last one is definitely true.
Because Snatcher is scary. His voice is scary, his hair, his teeth. When he blows up from the allergic reaction.
Oh yeah, like I just saw this movie today. I forgot that happened. I was like, wait,
twice
did that happen?
Blew up.
Yeah, he exploded. He's dead.
He saw died him die in the worst today. Way I can imagine for a human being to die.
All of our main cast was covered in his remains.
Recovered in his entrail and
cheesy
viscera.
They didn't show that. But the girl said so.
It was like a cheesy air dust poof.
And I'm sure she was just loving it.
She's great.
Yeah.
Fucking Winnie.
Winnie was great.
I liked Winnie's design. Like, because she's like...
She looked like a doll.
I just... Yeah, but also, like, I was just more like her proportions. Like, she was one of those... Like, and I see those kids all the time in her life where they're like... They're 10, so they're getting older, but they still have, like, that baby fat.
Yeah.
She was super cute.
There was my brother and me that described this as half chubby, which is a thing that only kids can be.
Yeah.
Because they're still growing in weird ways.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Winnie turned out to be a lot more fun of a character than I thought she was going to be, because when the marketing was like, okay, Eggs makes random friend, who is a girl. Okay. And then she turned out to be like just this really gross, like lover of gore and macabre and nasty, gnarly things.
Yeah, no, everybody else is horrified, and she's like trying to play it off as like, "Oh, I'm so scared of this shit," but tell me more.
Yeah, it's like,
is that did they let you watch? I mean, did they make you watch?
Yeah,
as they devoured your parents.
Oh, and then in that same scene, him asking where Kurd's way was.
oh my god, that joke.
Milk turns into it.
Milk turns into it. Oh my god.
Fucking 1 minute.
Though I think the funniest part of this movie was the Snatcher's henchmen.
Oh yes,
no,
absolutely.
Mr. Trout and
They
Mr.
were
Pickles.
voiced by
Nick Frost and Richard
Ayoabe.
Ayoabe.
Or Ayoabe. Okay, yeah, the guy from IT Crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the IT Craig guy. Afro dude with glasses
Yeah.
who says funny things.
They
all
were
the time.
hilarious.
Great.
I love them so much.
Yeah, and their humor sensibility was very, very British.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, I like that Mr. Trout, like, because you looked at him and everybody's expecting him to be the big stupid one, but he's literally the most.
Yeah, he's the
intelligent
first one who's
henchman.
like, are we the good guys? Why are they running away from us like we're the bad guys?
This seems like a villainous thing for us to be doing. And then Tracy Morgan as Mr. Gristle, who's a psychopath.
He's like a box troll, like all the myths that they come up with, he's like what they actually would be.
Yeah.
Like, he's like an actual terrible monster.
This was honestly one of Tracy Morgan's best roles, because it took me half the movie to realize that was Tracy Morgan.
I
knew he was in it, but I was like,
totally
who is
forgot
he?
it was
Which
him.
character is he?
No, I didn't notice until the credits. I'm like, holy crap!
I didn't notice Steve Bloom.
Me too, my
So I
brain
was like, oh,
exploded.
fuck. I was like, I should have known, because if I look back on it, he'll probably sound a little like Guillemon from Digimon Tamers. Hi, Guillemon!
Yeah, he did! Man, Shoes was
and
such
then-
a little tramp. Like, he just did whatever he
Love
wanted.
Shoes. Shoes is my favorite. He just doesn't give a fuck.
Actually, it was shoe singular. Because there was only one shoe on the box.
No, I think his name...
Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking at the Wikipedia thing.
Oh,
it's
it's
Shoe.
just Shoe?
He also voices one of the... the troll is called Sparky. I assume it's one of the ones that gets electrocuted.
It was one with, like, the goggles,
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
Because,
And
steampunk.
there's the one with the fake teeth. Was that was Sweets, I think.
That was sweet.
Oh, was it?
Played by
that was
Pat
Sweets.
Fraley.
He also voiced
Yeah.
Fragile.
That was a good name.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You got...
Yeah, Shoe, Sparky, Oil Can, Knickers, Clocks, Specs, Fragile, Sweets.
Yeah.
Wheels.
Take that, dwarves. Way better single word
Yeah,
names
D.
than
Bradley
our
Baker
names.
also played Wheels and Bucket. Nika Futterman played Oil Can, Knickers. Fred Tatasciore
Tatasciore.
I was going to say, help us
played
out, too.
Clocks and Specs. And then Pat Fraley, Fragile and Sweets. Steve Bloom, Shoe and Sparky.
Yeah, like I saw, D. Bradley Baker, I'm like, yeah, of course it is.
Why didn't he just voice every box?
But
troll that
honestly, I
wasn't
was kind of
friggin'
surprised because actual voice actors normally aren't in movies. Like Hollywood
Yeah,
movies
that-
doing
well,
voice
they-
rolling.
Yeah, this is the best they can get. They can't do, like, speaking roles, but they can do all this squeaky chew monster nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unless
good
you're-
for them. But,
Unless you're Tom Kenny, who hit the fucking jackpot with SpongeBob.
yeah. Who was in this, too?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he was.
he was Ed Vardis.
I don't remember who that was.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but
I
I
don't
see him in the
remember
credits, and I'm like, oh hey, because the SpongeBob
Maybe he's one of the
movie-
White Hats.
Yeah, maybe.
The SpongeBob sequel movie trailer was before this movie, obviously, and I was thinking, like, as much as I'm tired of this franchise, I'm glad Tom Kenny gets this much work. He deserves it. Good for him.
That trailer, I enjoyed that trailer more than I thought I would.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
I mean, the trailer's enjoyable, but I was watching it going, this is literally all the best jokes in the thing. And
Oh, yeah, that's probably going to be the case.
Yep.
No, that's always the case. That's why I hate trailers. 75% of the movie is shown. they summarize the first act and then show you the twist in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I mean, that was an advantage of these first 2 Boxtrolls trailers.
Yeah, like, because they were both teaser trailers. There was the one about the families, and then there was the one that was just animation porn.
He's got the whole world
in his
hands. Like, that one had a bit of footage in it, but, like...
Yeah. Didn't really tell you what it was about.
Although
like,
once...
No, actually, after seeing the movie, I realized it did. Because, you know, the point of that trailer was, you know, we are craftsmen animators. And then... So we made a movie about craftsmen.
See, the whole...
And how underappreciated they are, and how everybody thinks that they're not as great as they are.
Yeah, like, they had that whole bit at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that bit at the end with Pickles and Trout talking about, like, do you ever think there's someone controlling every move? And then, like, they do a time-lapse video of one guy posing every frame of that. And it's like, it was kind of self-aggrandizing, but also really cool and
they're also
hilarious.
making fun of themselves, too. They're like, what kind of...
I assume Richard. I assume he was like ad-libbing towards the end. There.
That was so ad-libbed. And again, like very British because they were mumbling the whole time.
Yeah, like me and my friends laughed like super duper hard, and everybody in the audience was like, "What?"
I was the only one because I saw it in the middle of the day. So like
on a Monday,
I thought I was going to be the only person in the theater. But then the second the first trailer shows up, a fucking dude and his kid walk in, and I'm like, ugh! And then another family comes in, and I'm like, ugh! But then they left, and I saw the funny bit, and they didn't, so, fuck you, children and parents.
Who doesn't at least stay for the first 5 to 10 minutes of trailers?
Because kids need to go pee-pee.
Okay,
that's go potty.
But I was gonna say, like, I stayed. I didn't even know because it's a kids movie, so I was like, there's not gonna be anything after the credits. But I didn't expect the mid-roll thing. But I stayed because the first half of the credits were animated, and it was super cool animation. I really dug it. So
and then there was the Boxtrolls
Here's the thing:
song.
most movies will do
the Boxtrolls song by Eric Idle.
It's cute. It's about Boxtrolls.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, but like. Most movies will have, like, a little animated bit for, like, the first part of the credits when they have the one song, and then, like, okay, everything else is orchestral, it's just on black. Like, the Lego movie, they had all that shit that was, like, in Legos, like, the, you know, as they were doing the full-length Everything is Awesome thing. Mm-hmm. And it was, like, one of those Lego display cases.
Yeah.
Like, most movies do that. I always stick around for that.
I love when movies do that. Like, it's fun. You know, and it makes you want to look at the people who put all this effort into the movie. And you're like, oh, who's this guy? Let's read their name. Haha, they have a funny name.
That, like, I remember when I used, you know, playing Super Nintendo Kid. Every time I beat Yoshi's Island, I would always count how many people
you were
had
playing
Yoshi.
Super Nintendo Kid.
Super Nintendo games as a kid. Sometimes I'll just abridge a sentence. But no, every time I would beat Yoshi's Island, I would count how many people in the credits had Yoshi as part of their name. And it's like 11.
It's like 11.
I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but it's in that ballpark.
So, like, the story of this movie is very simple, kind of predictable. I think it's the least creative out of the Laika movies.
I would say that. Like, I would say ParaNorman is your strongest one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Although I really like Coraline a lot. I think I might like Coraline more.
I like it.
Because ParaNorman is a little... I mean, I love ParaNorman a lot, but, like, I just really like Coraline. I don't know. It's just weird and cool, and it was this strange world.
Oh, no, yeah. Coraline is amazing. I love both, and I'm sure... Like,
whereas ParaNorman had the more typical, like, nobody understands me because I'm special. Though, I mean, that is a good message for kids, you know, like...
And I felt it was executed really well. The social commentary about, like, who the zombies really are was handled very organically, and nobody ever actually said the sentence I just did.
Yeah.
It had a canonically queer character, which was great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's such a weird body.
Yeah.
Everybody in that movie has
His
such a
body
weird
was the
body.
weirdest, though.
Also, I like how the guy who looks exactly like John Goodman wasn't John Goodman, but John Goodman was still in the movie as someone else.
Yeah. And I mean, I do like the whole, like, witch... Anytime you talk about the witch trial stuff, my feminist stuff comes out, and I'm like, yes, this was stupid.
Yeah, because, I mean, I explained this to our other sister, Lucy. It's like, the witch trials were, about punishing women for having agency.
Yeah, basically. But also, I'm really sorry, but when you said my feminist stuff comes out, my first thought was gross.
That's your fault! You're gross!
I know. It was the way she said, like, my feminist stuff, and, like, my brain interpreted it as literal things.
I actually like feminist art with that kind of feminist stuff. Like, I love photography where they just, like, put menstrual blood, like, everywhere. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
Did you ever see that Bob's Burgers?
No.
Yes.
Where
I've seen all of them, so, yeah.
Where Gene does the, Oh, that came back yesterday. That came back on Sunday.
So I haven't seen all of them. I've seen almost all of them.
But no, there's one where Gene... He's in this weird after-school thing. It's like competitive table setting.
Oh, yes, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the
beautiful. That is art.
Yeah,
what he created, that could be in, like, a museum. Like, seriously, for real.
Yeah, they could put that, like, next to the Frito Kahlo stuff in a feminist exhibit.
Yeah, like,
Yeah. So, Boxtrolls.
Yeah, Boxtrolls. Yeah, so, the plot's not the best. The main character's kind of weak.
He was not...
compelling.
I think he was a weaker point of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the strongest characters were Snatcher and his goons.
Yeah, and even Winnie was better than him. Like, he was just like, I'm not a box troll. And like, oh my god, we're doing this.
Yeah.
It was
I was under the impression that he had already reconciled that before the movie started.
Like, it was
I was kind of surprised that they bothered with that.
And, there were some inconsistencies. Like, the biggest one that bothered me was, like, how the hell did he learn how to speak English? Like, that didn't make any fucking sense at all.
I mean,
I understood
playing
it
off as a
necessary,
speech impediment was a good joke to gloss over, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Like, I know why they did it. It's just... they could have handled it better.
I wanted him to be, like, a lot more...
Yeah, I think that would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
I understand why they were probably... They must have been kicking the idea around.
He's got to be a proper English gentleman.
Because, like, obviously, they need him to be able to talk better, so for the scenes when he's with Winnie, there's more natural dialogue, and they can have a rapport instead of just her trying to figure out how to get this kid to not bite her.
Yeah.
Which he does, which was good.
I do like the scenes where, like, he doesn't understand society or, like, terms of phrase.
Yeah, and, like, even without his box, he naturally tries to hide in it.
That shake hands joke was brilliant.
Yes.
That is an A+. Like, whoever wrote that joke, I bet the rest of the writing team, like, bought him or her ice cream that day. It was a great joke.
That whole scene with the party... well, not like the whole scene, but most of the scene with because the part where he was like, "Everybody, listen to me," and I was like, okay. But everything else, I think, was really great. And did you guys not notice that Snatcher was Madame Frou Frou until the party? Because I didn't.
I mean, I could tell it was a dude.
I kind of had it spoiled for me. Someone was like, "Oh, the villain dresses up like a lady."
I saw Madame Frou Frou and I had no idea until the party.
No. Yeah,
you were enamored by her enchanting allure.
Well, her design was crazy. I was just like, what is this character? This is insane.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how, like, okay, that's clearly a drag queen. And they put it in a kid's movie. That's cool.
Oh, I didn't even get that. I just thought it was a really ugly lady.
Because, I thought it was, like, either an ugly lady or... It was either, like, a dude... or a lady who's so ugly she looks like a dude.
Yeah.
And then, thinking back, you realize, all the, like, people dressed up as box trolls were the other redheads.
Yeah, that's what tipped.
Because, like, at first I'm like, how is that one guy so small? I was like, oh, it's Gristle.
Who is a box troll? He's the...
Yeah, honestly, a split second of my brain went like, what if he's a box troll? What if that's some weird twist that they do? And then I'm like, nah, it's the third act. That's
He's a little maniac. There's a point in the climax when all the box trolls have to leave their boxes. And they're running around without their boxes. Because, like, I wondered, like if they like designed what they looked like without their boxes, or if they like just created these puppets with the boxes, and then I got to see them without their boxes, and they were so cute with their little butts.
And you had to see. Yeah, and like one thing, like this is, and obviously this is where my brain went. I'm sure Nikki realized it too. Is like the way they're shooting and framing everything. We're not seeing their crotches.
That was neat.
That means they have every box troll has little box troll penises. It's canon.
They have a little something. They have to reproduce somehow.
Yeah, but like there wasn't any.
It might be asexual because they all seem to be male, but who knows what their gender structures are like.
Well,
we shouldn't impose our own.
Maybe they lay an egg through their butt into a box, and then their anatomy morphs into around the box because all of their
those watermelons.
Yeah, because all of their physical appearance is based around their box.
Yeah, and as we've seen with eggs, they keep the same box forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means that they grow into their box, and the idea that a box troll could get too big for its box doesn't occur to them. So that means
there was that one box troll that was very little, and I thought it was a baby box troll, but I guess that box troll is just always going to be little because it was born in a little box.
Yep. Cruel fate.
But they're little butts. I couldn't get over the little butts.
Little butts. One of them had underwear.
I'm not running around.
And then
like
I don't
this.
think he ever put his box back on. He was like, I like this.
He was like, I'm good. I'm good to go.
I'm DTF 24/7.
You know, it would have been funny if instead of briefs, he was wearing boxers.
But briefs are funnier. Right. I think he was wearing panties, which was weird because they didn't have panties in Victorian times.
No, it's like women's underwear was like 4 times as big to keep the evil in it. Whatever made up thing that I don't agree with. I want to make sure.
Out, and I was like, oh.
No, the thing I would actually believe in is yes, keeping it out, but that's not what they thought. I just want to make it clear that I'm not the sexist one. No, they are.
No, I did a project on the corset last week. I had to go down that fun time path. So yeah, no, that's totally something they would believe in. Is there anything else you want to mention?
I'm interested to see where the studio evolves from here because, like you said, this is it's still, very visually rich, a very fun, a very well-executed movie, but it is, plot-wise much more pedestrian.
I can see kids enjoying this one the most. Like little kids.
Yes, definitely. And I hope that this isn't, a linear progression of them getting more and more pedestrian for the sake of making money. Because, the last two didn't do that well.
Yeah.
Coraline was really scary for a kid's
terrifying.
movie.
The book was terrifying. I mean, that was the whole premise of the book.
That opening scene is a doll's version of gore pornography.
Yeah.
It's actually, even as a human, it's kind of really gruesome.
Yeah. Yep. I remember when I learned about that book, I'm like, why would anybody write a children's book that's a horror book for children?
Neil Gaiman.
He also wrote a picture book that was a horror book called The Wolves in the Walls.
The cover of that is terrifying.
So scary. I remember I was in the 4th grade, and the librarian was reading it to us. I wouldn't share this with the 1st graders, but I'll share it with you guys because you're big kids. And I was like, I'm scared. And she didn't finish the story. She stopped reading it in the middle of the book, so I couldn't sleep that night. I was so scared.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen that cover, but you have seen the cover of the movie The Wall with the face coming out of the wall, it's a bunch of wolves.
Yeah, there are wolves in the walls, and nobody believes the kid, and then they come out.
And they bite everybody.
But yeah, Coraline was a scary movie.
Yeah, and then ParaNorman isn't as scary, but it has its, kind of grody-ass moments. Like
that one zombie with the lip, that drippy lip.
Yeah, where his detached jaw.
Mm.
And the witch could be pretty scary.
Like when she's freaking out and the sparks and everything.
Or even in the sky, she'll scream really loud, and I can imagine a little kid being scared of that.
Oh yeah, totally. And that, but especially at the end when like Norman's like,
oh yeah, that was.
It looked like a level from Psychonauts or something.
Yeah, they showed that in the trailers a lot.
Yeah, that was a very creative thing they did. The way they pulled that off was very fascinating. I wouldn't have thought of it myself.
Yeah, and also that stuff with Agatha the witch was also really sad. And I don't know, the part where like the boxes keep disappearing, the box pile that they sleep in, as that kept going down, that was sad.
Yeah,
that was effective.
And when Fish told the story of Egg's father and stuff, that was kind of sad.
Yeah. And even, Snatcher was a well-written villain because he had, I wouldn't say he was overall sympathetic, but he had a sympathetic edge to him. Because
he had goals. He had a goal, and it was a reasonable goal. He just went through it in a reasonable.
He wasn't Gargamel. He didn't want to kill the Boxtrolls because he hated the idea of these Boxtrolls and their happy little lives. It was a means to an end for him.
Yeah.
Because power and privilege was so rigidly stratified that if he wanted to get it, because that's the whole thing. He wanted the white hat because he wanted to be, an accepted member of society. Because he's this fucking wretch. He's this grotesque man.
That's one thing that the story didn't tie up at the end with a bow is the whole story with Portly Rind and his relationship with Winnie and his relationship to the town. Like, I felt that character like didn't really have any resolution, like at all.
No, it's like there's a little bit of like, you were right, Winnie, but like it was like one line as like the tank was tearing around.
And he's
such
a terrible leader of the town. Like, he's awful. And like he doesn't get his comeuppance in the end. Like, you think they would have been like some sort of like, Dad, don't you understand? But
we need a democracy instead of this oligarchical council that misappropriates city funds.
I assumed that at the end when Shu pulls the white hat out of the trash, and that was sort of symbolic of like, the town's not run by these assholes anymore, and now everybody's like, the town's better with the Boxtrolls and, whatever. But yeah, they could have done that.
Yeah, because he was kind of like the least likable character.
Basically, he was a horrible leader, a horrible father.
An annoying person.
Crappy parents is a theme in Laika movies. Like, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Norman's parents aren't like the worst. They're just regular parents.
His dad was an asshole.
Yeah.
His mom was fine. His dad was a real asshole.
Yeah.
But honestly, in terms of asshole dads, Norman's dad is the most believable. Like, oh yeah, like millions.
Yeah, like he felt like a real asshole because he felt like a real person that you could meet and be your dad.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I was like, yeah, he watches Fox.
Oh, here's one thing I thought of. Norman and Boxtrolls were both about, kind of uprooting the status quo and a new perspective on people who are typically looked down upon. Was Coraline kind of about, like, accepting the status quo? Because, like, at the end, it's like, oh, my crappy mom is better. Because, I mean, sure, she doesn't make cool chicken that I don't eat. I'm going to come back to that after I finish this sentence. But at least she won't try to steal my eyeballs. But, like at the end, it's like, oh, I'm just going to accept this family. Because it's not like the family grew. It's not like the parents really grew. She just learned to accept them.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad message. Because I think it was a matter of perspective. Like, I think Neil Gaiman was trying to like get at the head of a kid. Like, my parents are the worst people in the world, and it's like, well, what if you actually meet the worst parents in the world, and then you're like, my parents aren't so bad. Like,
yeah, my parents. And it wasn't so much her parents. It was her whole life because like she felt like she had no agency, so she hated everything because nothing was there by her decision. She didn't choose her neighbors, she didn't choose her house, she didn't choose her family, she didn't choose her friends.
She didn't choose her weird name she didn't choose her weird name that everybody got wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So, but she's like, you know what? Like, this is my lot in life, and when I look around and see, like, hey, this is
I can make this work for me.
You can find joy in it. And didn't she kind of reconcile with her mom a little bit? Like, didn't they have like a heart to heart at the end where they like tried to see eye to eye? Yeah. So I mean. It was a lesson for everybody.
I just think it's interesting in that the lesson was in a very different vein from that of Norman and Boxtrolls, which was comparable.
Yeah.
Which was like your dad sucks objectively, kick him the fuck out of his throne of power.
Yeah.
With trolls.
But here's the thing. This bothers me in all like TV and movies. Is like they make a bunch of food. And it's like, oh, this food is so great, and then they don't fucking eat it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, like she fills up this plate with chicken and mashed potatoes. She has like 2 bites, and then the mom takes it away and gives her the cake, which she also doesn't eat. That drives me insane.
Yeah, that always drove me insane too. But they ate a lot of cheese in this movie.
Yeah, at least they ate the fucking cheese in this movie.
But I was constantly watching it going like, where's like the, like, I get cheese. I love the shit out of cheese, but it's like, can I get some crackers? Can we get some
wine?
With the cheese? Some bread, maybe cheese sandwiches, maybe cheesecake? No, just giant hunks of gone bad milk that's safe to eat? Alright.
I guess it's just like the
behemoth must have been like 1.2 billion calories.
Oh my god, that thing was just...
Realistically, I was anticipating everybody to just have, like, mucus buckets to spit.
And like
this town is run on cheese. It's all everyone eats. They must be so
cheese bridge
constipated.
Yeah, I was gonna say they gotta have like a lot of laxatives. I mean, they live in the sewer, and I guess it's not that that
Eggs
nasty
is probably
because
the healthiest one. Bugs have protein.
Yeah, but like they live in the sewers or whatever. But it wasn't that nasty because everybody just shits rocks, so there's no sludge.
All right.
No,
so with that,
the rivers of blood are from them.
Oh god.
Oh.
Why would you? Okay.
We're trying to have a nice conversation
about cheese poops.
Yeah, and you have to bring butt blood into it.
Cheese actually does the opposite for me.
It loosens you up.
Anyway, Boxtrolls.
Yeah, that was our.
For all you people rushing to our inboxes to ask us how regular we are, just delete it. We did it for you.
I mean, like that. We could do a full episode about that, but we won't. It's not germane to the fucking podcast.
Okay. All right, so we're done with Boxtrolls. That's.
I think we are. We enjoy it. It's not the most fantastic movie you'll ever see, but if you enjoy animation as a craft, especially stop motion animation, you owe it to yourself to see this movie. Especially if you want to see more stuff come out of
And if you like cute.
Well,
in a vacuum.
Well, I mean, I guess they've got that movie deal. I think they're safe for a while.
Yeah.
So that's
in a vacuum, it's like it's watchable, it's entertainment, but like as a whole, Laika's building up a really nice like franchise of films. Like, a really nice thing they've got going.
Yeah. Yep. All right.